the man, the myth, the legend, Sebastian, the AJ style, the AJ. What was it? Oh shit! I've already forgotten it.
The AJ Styles of podcasting. Sir.
The AJ Styles of podcasting. Sebastian is back on the show. What's up, Seb?
Oh, man, it's been forever.
Oh my God, man! Hey, you guys, welcome to the Friday Untitled Friday show. Man, I'm just gonna botch it all night. We got me and Sebastian, and then we're joined today from the Squared Circle Countdown. EJ, what's going on, EJ?
Oh, thank you for having me. Excited to talk about everything pro wrestling and other stuff.
Hey, I want to talk about fast food later. That's my loaded thing is fast food tonight. But EJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Go ahead, if you may. Where are you from?
Philadelphia.
Out in Philly. Okay, you're right around my neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And how long you been? How long's your show been up for, man?
It was like about 6 months, and then we had to take a little bit of a hiatus due to work. Work stuff, because my co-host and I are both work for the same company, so we both had recent promotions. So yeah, it's just trying to adapt, and we know the struggles, man.
Real life has gotten in the way quite a bit. Sebastian took like a year-long sabbatical, it feels like, from the show.
Yeah, ever since I started my job at the prison. Yeah,
yeah. So EJ, you're probably not familiar with this, but it's been a running joke that Sebastian has been set to make his Smack Raw return now for about the last 3 months. And week after week, delay after delay.
No, I just started day shift on the 4th. So last 2 Fridays I was supposed to come back. First Friday, storm came, power's out. Last Friday, I fucked my back up. Still fucked up. I got a pinched nerve in it. But that was like fresh, just happened the day before, and I couldn't really sit like this long enough to.
It became a running joke. It's like, nope, Sebastian's debut is pushed back another week.
And it almost got fucked up again because I couldn't find my laptop charger. But luckily, a Nintendo Switch Lite charger will fit this laptop somehow. Don't know how.
It's technology, man. You guys, this is I've already botched this intro so bad, but this is the Untitled Friday show. So if you're not familiar, this is a show that we just started here on Smack Raw. Essentially, man, we like to bring guests on. We're going to talk pro wrestling, talk about certain things that we like, what we got going on in life. One of my favorite things was the first Untitled Friday show. We talked about RN having a kennel for French bulldogs and his passion of ugly dogs, man. It was a fantastic time. But it's a fun show, man. It's a fun show. EJ, my dude, so you asked us before the show to kind of bring your flavor, your list, the list that you like making, and you had myself and Sebastian create 5 favorite matches with no repeating. You said championships or wrestlers.
Yeah.
Okay. I almost botched this. I'm glad I went back and reread it. I thought you said fantasy book 5 matches, no repeating wrestlers. So I have 2 lists now.
Okay.
But I'll kick it off with mine. Seb, do you have your list?
Sure.
He's gonna make it up on the go. This guy right here. So, how do you want to do this, EJ? Do you want us all to list off one match at a time, or do you want us just to run all 5 down?
Run it down the list. Go from start to finish.
Start to finish? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start it off with the TLC of WrestleMania 2000. The triple threat, the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. That's what that just captured the zeitgeist for me. That was my age. I was a teenager. The Hardys were like the coolest things I'd ever seen. I loved the carnage. And then fast forward to my adulthood and all my nostalgia for those eras, we go straight into the end of the era Hell in a Cell match between Triple H and The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee. I think that was, what WrestleMania was that, Sebastian?
26.
No. Okay. Thank you, EJ. All right. Yeah.
27. Sorry. 27.
27. Yeah, man. That one got me in my feels. Fantastic. Then fast forward a little bit more. My eyes opening up to there's a world of wrestling outside of WWE. Omega versus Okada 1. That was my second Kenny Omega match I'd ever seen. The match I'd only seen before that was his match against Naito to get that championship match. And it was by far the best pro wrestling match I've ever seen. Then we go over to Young Bucks versus FTR. Now, this is where I got screwed up because I wanted the Bucks versus Hangman and Kenny Omega. Okay. But I already had Omega on the list, so I had to sub in their match against FTR. I thought that was fantastic. And then my final one is Sasha Banks and Bayley at TakeOver Brooklyn. So I tried to make all 5 matches, they were special to me for a reason. You know, they was either exposing me to something new or it was something personal. So those were my top 5.
Awesome. You know, I actually forgot about the Okada. Now I want to take that back, but you know what? I'm sticking with my list. I gotta commit.
All right. Let's go ahead and get your list because I have a feeling Seb might be making it up on the fly right now.
Okay.
Never.
Well, the opening match, I consider like one of the greatest opening matches to WrestleMania was Owen Hart beating his older brother, Bret Hart. WrestleMania 10, that was a great match. And again, it was a great story that led up to it. And you never would have thought that Owen Hart would have pulled off the victory, and he did. No one later on that Bret Hart was going to win the title, but still, it was still a shocker. And I think it was considered one of the greatest WrestleMania open matches ever. My second match, let me pull up my notes. I'm sorry, I should have had that ready to go. There you go. Second one is the Intercontinental title match, Royal Rumble 2001 between Chris Jericho and a name that we should not mention, but I mean, it is one of my favorite matches, Chris Benoit. And it not only is, I consider it the greatest Royal Rumble match ever, but considered one of the greatest Intercontinental title matches ever. My third match, being a big fan of tag team wrestling, the WWE Tag Team Championship, 2 out of 3 falls, SummerSlam 90 between the Hart Foundation and Demolition. And I was actually present for that show, for that match. I was there at the Spectrum, SummerSlam 1990 to witness that. And to me, I think it's one of the greatest tag team matches ever. Fourth match, I'm going to go outside of WWE for the NWA. I was also a big fan of the NWA growing up. Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat. The third one, the Chi-Town, the third of the trilogy. And then the fifth match is the WWE Championship match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock at WrestleMania X7.
Oh yeah, I mean that's you could put that on any top list. I got to give it to you. So I've always been criticized because I'm not really a fan of the golden age of wrestling, like the 80s and NWA stuff. It was just a hard watch for me, but I will say my olive branch has been Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man. Those guys, because they looked like they were ahead of their time. I wasn't really a fan of like the spectacle because as a kid I was introduced to like car crash wrestling, WrestleMania 2000 TLC, you know. So I always needed that more adrenaline, and but Steamboat, his pace that he could keep along with Macho Man, I was like, okay, I can go back and watch those matches any day of the week. And I also have a newfound appreciation for Flair too.
Oh, he is one of the greatest.
Did you ever see that 30 for 30 with him?
No, that
one of the greatest pieces of cinema, my friend. I am telling you.
I've seen just about every Ric Flair documentary. They got plenty of them on YouTube. That's one I do have to watch.
It's hilarious. It's ridiculously funny. For one, I dare you to watch it next to your wife because she'll probably slap the shit out of you, like while you're watching it, because he's such he's so blazingly a misogynist and very unapologetic. Like one of the interviewers asks him, they're like, Rick, did you ever try to, settle down and be an honest man and, do right by your wife and kids and be a dad and everything? And Ric Flair, without missing a beat, says, yeah, I tried it for 24 hours and I was bored out of my mind. 24 hours he committed himself to his marriage. That's all he did. It was it's not like I glorify it. It's just amazing to see a human being that's so cut away from the norm of what the beat that everyone else walks to, and Ric Flair's always just walked his own beat, and I think that's something amazing to witness.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you hear all the stories, especially like they told a few of them on his Hall of Fame speech. I mean, he lived, and he's still living that style, and he's 72, 73 years old. So, I mean, he's going to go to the grave living that lifestyle.
At this point, it has to, right? I mean, by the way, Sebastian, do you have the live chat in front of you by any chance?
No, I do not.
It's okay. Matt Ritter's in the chat. He says, Seb.
What's up, Matt? I'm not making a list right now, Matt. Not doing it.
And I went and Brett was named one of the top 20 WrestleMania matches of all time. Yeah, easily.
While Sebastian works frantically.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
You're ready. Okay, go ahead,
okay.
Seb.
Okay. I did not just make this up, so I did not.
Jesus Christ. Oh, wait. I don't think I didn't realize that Sebastian's talking. You're muted, Seb. We can't hear you, bud.
No, I was actually froze for some reason.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I tried to think of 5 matches I'd want to see as a fan. Recent.
Mm-hmm. And we can't hear him again. What in the world?
Is he ribbing us?
Are you doing that like whole fast food gimmick?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Charlotte, Becky, last woman standing.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
For my women's match. Okay. I got...
That was at Evolution, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a throwback from a SmackDown here. Edge versus Eddie Guerrero, no DQ.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
All right. Cena versus Styles, Royal Rumble. That one.
I'm angry about that one, man. I love it. I love the match. I was so mad about it though.
And I gotta have some tag team wrestling, but I didn't go tag team title here. I went Shield versus the Wyatts.
Okay.
All right.
And then of course my favorite match of all time, Taker and Michaels 25 WrestleMania 25, the first one.
The first one.
The first one. Oh.
I feel like I'm in a rare boat that I like the second one more. I want to say like most people like the first one more.
Second one I thought was better because it had a better story leading up to it. And
yeah.
It was really good, and the match was a great payoff to it.
All right, so you guys don't have to do this, but I made this list, so I'm going to put it out there, right? Because I feel really proud about this one.
Okay.
So, like I said, I misread what your task was, and I read it as build just the ultimate pay-per-view. 5 matches. You can't have the same wrestler in 2 matches, obviously. And so this is what I came up with. For my ultimate pay-per-view for a 5-match card, now granted this is mixing all the brands that I know, you kick it off with, you want a hot, high-octane match to begin the night with, so you start off the night with the Gorillas of Destiny taking on the Usos. That'll get the crowd just unglued from their seats, and we're going to try to keep that throughout the night. Now, they're going to go ahead and blow the roof off the place. So the crowd's already going to be kind of wore out going into round 2 or match 2. So you want to change the pacing up. And I actually book Yano taking on Orange Cassidy. So to not try and outdo the Wrestling Clinic the match beforehand.
Okay.
Then we kick off a women's match. We got to have a women's match on the card. I'm going to do a fatal 4-way. Britt Baker taking on Bayley, taking on Bianca Belair, and finally Io Shirai, and watch just the top current level of women's wrestling take place. Then to try and settle the crowd down, but still deliver an awesome match for the co-main, I've got Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Riddle. I think that would be a technical masterpiece.
Wow.
And be something fun to watch. And then finally, you got to go with the top people on the planet. I got Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main event. You know, so that's my dream card right there as it stands right now. And then I don't expect y'all to have one, but I made one.
Oh, here, you know what? As far as main event, I'm already agreeing with you on that one. Yeah. I was thinking that too. So as far as the women's match, I got one for you. Okay. Charlotte Flair, Thunder Rosa, 1-on-1. I think that would be an incredible match.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa would sell the shit for Charlotte, and Charlotte doing all those big crazy spots. It'd be brutal. Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. And Charlotte delivers. Say what you want. I'd piss and moan all the way up to a Charlotte match, and then in the match she wins me over. You know?
I don't see what the hate is for her. I think she's the best easily. Just like her father. Yeah, I'm a big fan of her. Let's see, tag team. Hold on. Schneikes. I want to go with Briscoes because I've always been a big fan of them.
Oh, I love the Briscoes.
Who can I put in that? Kind of think as far as AEW or WWE, anything that could, and that hasn't been done too. I would love to. Oh God, I'm sorry. I should have came up with a list for that.
No, it's all right. I would say Briscoes in FTR.
You know what? Traditional wrestling. All right, I go with that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely go with that. And then, yeah, like I said, the main event, I agree with you on that. Match before that.
What would be your dream technical match? Because that was my theme for the co-main, is a technical masterpiece. And I mean, I always you got Zack Sabre Jr. is always a shoe-in when you're going to talk that, but
I would probably say the same on that too. Because Riddle is like, we haven't scratched the surface of what Matt Riddle could do. Yeah. And if they ever let him loose, he's going to be a big star for that company. And I'm hoping they allow that because there's something there.
We talk about it. RN goes in on it too. I mean, Randy Orton handpicked the guy. You know, it's not like they forced Randy Orton to start working with Riddle. That that's coming from Orton. That's him telling the company, I see something in this guy. I want to work with him. Did you see the news break earlier today that apparently Randy Orton is like injured or something? He's on like some, I guess he was taken off of like a list or something.
I was about to ask if anybody's heard anything about Randy.
I saw something. I can't remember though if it looked legit. It said something about him being added to like a disabled list or something like that, man.
Well, that would explain why he hasn't been on. So yeah, probably. I saw something on Twitter. I just didn't click the link to read further. But yeah, it obviously there is something out there about him being out right now.
So according to Bleacher Report, as of 6 Abel's list, Orton's reportedly on WWE's disabled list. I didn't even realize that was a thing, but I guess it means it's injury related.
Okay.
The stuff I've been reading was just speculating that he had planned time off and he'd be trying to get it in right now before they start touring.
Mm-hmm.
But damn. Okay.
What? Well, going back to what you were saying with like he chose Riddle. I mean, he said on the Stone Cold podcast that he wants to help younger talent get over. And yeah, I mean, picking a guy like that, you need newer guys because eventually a Goldberg's not going to be able to come back. A Cena's not going to be able to come back. Mm-hmm. You have to build some stars. And I know you don't want them like a Rock or Austin where they're bigger than the company. They want it brand. You come to see the brand, not for an individual. But you still got to create some stars. And Randy Orton, I guess he sees something in Riddle. And I mean, power to him. He's doing the right thing for the business.
Yeah, what will we ever do without Goldberg? What will we ever do?
I'll stay positive about that one. Okay.
Well, since we already talked a little news, we dabbled in a little news. That'd be a good segue. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's the elephant in the room, man. Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, and apparently CM Punk, All Elite. I'm not gonna lie. This isn't how I would want to find out, but I'm happy to hear it. You know, That's crazy, man. And it looks. I mean, I've never seen news outlets all so confident in these stories before. You know, uh, it's plugged. What do you think? Have you seen on your social media feeds? Have you seen hate for Daniel Bryan, hearing about these WWE loyalists all of a sudden turning on him?
I haven't seen. I've seen like people comment like a photo or a screenshot of a tweet. But
Yeah, I saw one tweet and then like a couple, like one or two people agree with them in the comments, but everything I see is screenshots on Instagram, like people just melting down on Daniel Bryan's Instagram.
But yeah, I definitely think Daniel's gone. Even he's been pulled out of WWE 2K22 as of the day.
Mm-hmm.
The Punk thing, I think the biggest source I seen for that was Ringside News, so I'm gonna take that one with a grain of salt.
Yeah, they're not really known to be a refutable news source.
But you know, it's possible. If he goes anywhere, I would say it will be AEW.
So we're more excited for Daniel Bryan, right?
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not excited for CM Punk, but you feel like that window for that mega return, that window's already closed. Like people will you're still Punk loyalists, but it's not going to be like shaking up the world like when he supposedly left. What was it in like 2011, where he was leaving the company and taking the belt with him and stuff.
Yeah, the Summer of Punk.
The Summer of Punk, yeah.
Which is a like kind of taken away from the Ring of Honor that he did 5 years prior. They did the same thing, but WWE style. I mean, I think it'd be a good thing for. I'm more excited about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Or Bryan Danielson, I guess is what he's going to go by.
And not even just AEW's perspective. Like, there's a lot of stuff with New Japan I want to see him do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's where, him going to AEW, he would have these opportunities. He would have the opportunity to do a match in Impact, New Japan, AAA. I mean, he could go wherever and, not – because honestly, what does he have left to do in WWE? He hasn't really –
He's done everything twice.
Yeah.
He got to main event Mania as a babyface, and then main event Mania as a heel.
Well, Mania,
kind of heel, but yeah, there's nothing left for him to do. Like, what original content are you going to give that man? No,
nothing really.
I'm excited to see the Daniel Bryan World Tour.
Everyone's saying to NXT, there was really not much he could have done.
Yeah, NXT would have been spicy, but I don't think it would have been a big enough splash. I think showing up on AEW and then him just doing the same thing Kenny Omega's doing, popping up, never knowing where you're going to see Daniel Bryan next. Or hell, he can be on Dynamite for the most part. It's just there's so much good stuff. What's funny? As crazy, as excited as I am to see him, the only match that comes to mind, I'm having a hard time getting past him and Kenny. I'm trying to think of other matches that he would do. First of all, rule number one I have for AEW, don't pit ex-WWE guys off against ex-WWE guys without your own talent around. And what I mean by that is I liked the match between Christian and Matt Hardy, but not having anybody else from AEW out there made it feel more like a TNA match than a Dynamite match. That was weird.
Okay. Yeah. Fair point.
Yeah. But all you had to do was have like Private Party and Jungle Boy out there, and then bang, it would have had a better feel.
I wouldn't mind seeing Bryan versus a Black though. I mean, that's something we never really saw in WWE.
Oh yeah, that's true. Ethan Page comes to mind.
Yeah, that would be good. And it depends on what he comes in as. Obviously, he may be a face, but I mean, I enjoyed his heel work.
It's going to be very hard to
get. It's going to be an uphill battle to get that man booed.
Yeah, starting first coming out,
it's not going to happen. Yeah, I agree with the Ethan Page. That would be a good match. I'm trying to think of others like in there.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a whole thing with like Aleister Black or Andrade. Really, I mean, they kind of just came to AEW, made a big splash, and then 2 weeks later it's ruined because of Daniel Bryan's coming.
It was ruined like a week or two after Andrade debuted, when Tony Khan was like, "Oh, by the way, we've got bigger surprises than Andrade." Yeah. Like,
so you can kind of use that, in a storyline. So
yeah, you could too. You could. Not only would you see like the dream matches with Bryan, but his character work. Imagine the comedy you can get out of him around like the Dark Order, and just some comedy stuff, man. I'm really miffed that we didn't get more Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan, because those guys were gold paired up with each other, man. They were doing some funny stuff.
Yeah, and that was in the beginning part of the pandemic too. Yeah, it was something that, one of the good things that was going on SmackDown during that time.
Yeah, Bryan went home, and poor Gulak. If you didn't have Bryan there with you, we knew the writing was on the wall for him.
Yep, sadly. I see Bama Dave. He has a few matches. Daniel versus Page.
Yeah.
Christian. Lance Archer. I like that one. That would be a great one.
Oh, that would be really good.
MJF. Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite heels.
That's the top one for me right there. Him and MJF.
Now, and here you go. Even though these are two ex-WWE guys, but Spears.
Spears has been in AEW long enough now where I feel the WWE aura has kind of faded from him.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, I think he had an excellent match the other night with Chris Jericho. And watching that match, it's like, damn, man, I wish they would have used him a lot more in WWE, because you're working with the GOAT and they put on an incredible match. It's unbelievable.
He was just one of the classic cases of just not knowing what to do with the NXT guys. Yeah. Didn't know what made him popular.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame he never got that NXT belt. He was like right there on it too. He was right there. Him and Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, that's another one. That's a long list. A long list. Andrade.
Gosh.
So, like, what do we expect from CM Punk?
Yeah, that's the thing. Honestly, I think he's going to have a better chance coming in as a heel than a babyface. Although he's going to turn up in Chicago, and Chicago's going to lose their mind for him. But that could really kickstart his heel persona, is have the man turn on Chicago or something. I don't know.
It'd be hard to get him as over his heel too. Maybe a few months down the road, but
what if they're just bringing them both in to pair them off? Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk, man.
I mean,
that could work.
Cheered. I think CM Punk gets cheered.
That's hard. That's difficult, man. I know. Just the internet just melts down though watching that.
Like just been so long, and really, man. Like, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to be young to be any good. I understand. There's a lot of older talent now. Edge, Jericho, AJ Styles. You can keep going. But, I mean, we ain't seen him wrestle in 10 years.
Punk?
And it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean.
Well, you saw him pop up in that indie event, and he hit a GTS, and it looked like he struggled with the GTS, man.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I'm not as excited as most people about this is. I don't know.
I'm excited for his star power. I'm excited for his presence and to see what he can do there. But by far, like, the matches, I'm way more excited for Daniel Bryan.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And see him. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say another thing I'm excited for is Chris Jericho and Nick Gage next week. I'm going to be there. That's in my neck of the woods. Oh man, Chris Jericho's probably had this man sign a contract or something, right? Like they've got to have like an agreement. I just can't picture Jericho like in a legit. I mean, he's been in death matches before, but like. We're dealing with a different caliber of a human being here with Nick Gage.
Yeah, I think in some ways it could be nuttier than the shirt you're wearing, New Jack.
Good Lord. He's going to come out as the Painmaker?
Yeah, and that's the thing with him. He can adapt to any style. Like Kenny Omega kind of adapted to Sami Callihan's style. Jericho's the same way. Like, you put him in a match, he'll make it work regardless. And I think we're in for something we're going to be in for something big. But the one thing I would say about this, I was just talking to someone about this today. Look at Eddie Kingston. Like, he had a one-off match for Cody for the TNT title. And look where he's at now. There's a possibility we could see Nick Gage permanently And yeah, obviously you're not going to do the death matches every match, but I'm sure you could probably mold him into doing a regular wrestling match. He has done it. I think it'd be a great opportunity for him.
I mean, I think the big thing is when's All Out? That's coming up, right?
All Out. It is coming up. It's in August.
Oh, August. I was thinking September. I mean, I think
no, it could be. It could be September, man. I have the worst memory in the world. September 5th. September 5th. Yeah.
I think the definite ending here is him and Moxley at All Out. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because they've already planted the seeds for that stuff already.
And then after that,
it's got dogs barking.
Yeah, it's been confirmed. All Out September 5th.
Yeah.
Dave, thank you for the help.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean,
sorry, my daughter walked in. But I mean, after that match, I don't know exactly what they do with him. I think that's kind of the end. As far as his style, Moxley's like the one, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh,
there's not really many other people I can think of that would just, it would just be there like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, no, Omega.
He is kind of like a square peg trying to get into a round hole.
And really, I couldn't see him as long as Omega has the belt. Anyway, I couldn't see him anywhere near Omega.
Yeah, because like I said, one of Eddie Kingston's biggest crutches for being able to avoid all the crazy matches is just his character. His character is so much larger than life that dude doesn't need to be in a match, to positively impact a show. And I'm not sure Gage carries that, to be honest with you. But it would not shock me at the rate that they're scooping people up that they do sign him. Like it wouldn't shock me at all. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'd be on that Rampage show. What is with that Rampage show? Doesn't that feel like it's a 1 hour show after SmackDown?
Well, I mean, it will probably create opportunities for like the guys and girls that you're not going to see every week on Dynamite. I mean, you could put them on Dark, but here's an opportunity for them to be on network TV week in and week out.
I mean, we all know they don't have a PC, so.
There's a large audience that refuses to watch wrestling if it's exclusively on like YouTube. It's just a stigma to some people.
I've never been a big fan of it, but I did used to watch NWA Power before COVID struck.
I was watching Dark pretty consistently for a while, and it was the running joke was I watched it solely for Excalibur and Taz's commentary. I thought their commentary was hilarious on Dark, man. And that's what kept me around for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I grew up on the era of like squash matches. Think about like back in the day, the Saturday morning wrestling shows, Superstars and all. That's all you saw. So for me, I could watch it week in and week out just because it brings me back to when I was a kid. So I have no problem watching it.
Man, wasn't that like Saturday night main event? Who was it that Undertaker tombstoned on an escalator?
Oh, if it was early 90s, I would have to say. Oh no, I don't even remember that one. I know 92 feuded with Jake the Snake. I don't know if it would have been him. Oh, fudge.
I want to say it's Triple H, to be honest with you.
Saturday night's main event?
No, Shotgun Saturday Night. It was Triple H, Shotgun Saturday Night, 1997.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Saturday night's main event. I think the last one they had was 92.
Yeah, I just got the names. They've had so many like Saturday shows, like it's crazy. Trying to remember all of them. Okay, so Shotgun Saturday. My bad.
No, I remember that. Wow.
I miss Velocity days.
What's that?
Velocity.
Oh, God.
Velocity. See, mine was Sunday Night Heat on MTV.
That they ran both of them at the same time. I'm pretty sure, didn't they?
I think so. I think it was you had both of them as an option.
Heat was for Raw. SmackDown was Velocity. That was their.
Okay.
Other than pay-per-views because Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday Night Heat was like the kickoff show.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember, that's where who was the MVP of Sunday Night Heat? I think it's S.A. Rios.
Yeah, I would say Essa Rios. Kai and Tai was big during that time.
Yeah.
Val Venus was on like every show.
Who?
Val Venus was like on every episode. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I love that gimmick. The Val Venus gimmick. Like he came out like 98 and just went boom. Like he shot out real quick. And the matches that he had with like D'Lo Brown, that's really where he started getting recognition.
Oh yeah, D'Lo Brown was on heat, man, with that European Championship.
Hurricane Rosie was on it pretty often too.
Bama has a good question. Who's going to be the first big defection from AEW to WWE? I think honestly, it's MJF. I think MJF will just continue to be the world's biggest heel, become a star on AEW, and then ship over to WWE.
Oh, that's possible.
Darby Allin.
Darby? Yeah, I could see that.
And NXT. He'll stick around NXT for a good portion of it.
I don't know. AEW's weird. No, like, I can see a few guys, because a lot of these guys, like, who'd be a good example? I'm not saying these guys would. Maybe like Pentagon Jr. Like, he's on there about 2 weeks in a row, then he'll go a month without being on TV. Like, there are some guys I didn't realize. I could see, like, just, hey, what can I do on NXT or something, or the main roster?
But I'm also thinking, like, who has the WWE look? Like, because remember, there's two people here. WWE, for one, has to be interested in you. And another person that would be, now he may have already been with WWE, I won't even know. But Ethan Page, once again, doubling back to that guy. That's a WWE guy right
Well, if we're
there.
counting main roster and NXT, there's a lot of guys I could see work on NXT. Main roster is a different story.
Yeah.
Ethan Page, no, I think he was Indie and went right to Impact.
Yeah.
From there, I don't recall him even being at the Performance Center. But I could be wrong on that. I agree with MJF.
Yeah.
It could be another Baron Corbin. I mean, you're going to need a couple of big heels like that. Bama Dave says Britt Baker. That could work, yeah, because Adam Cole. But I think she, right now, will not be a wise move, even if she drops the title soon. But yeah, I could see Britt Baker too. As far as the women,
yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for now. But I mean, with the reputation that WWE has right now, who's going to be willing to make that kind of move? I mean, you had Andrade that came right over, had no problem, and according to the rumors, we might have another guy that was in WWE and now in AEW.
I think we're going to see a lot of them. I think. I will commend. Okay, so in my opinion, I know it's going to sound funny if I say that AEW has some restraint on hiring WWE guys because it feels like they have scooped up a ton. I'm glad they had enough restraint to realize that the world was not ready for Matt Cardona when he came through. That the former Zack Ryder when I saw Zack Ryder on there, I was like, boy. I was like, I hope he doesn't stick. No offense, Zach.
You just wait till Mojo Rawley pops up one day.
I'm telling you. I got to tell you right now, though. Okay, so we'll flip the script on all these people of the hiring. Let's talk about some firings that are needed. And I'm going to start it off. Bang. QT Marshall, you're fired. All right, get off my TV.
Yeah. This is going to... I don't want nobody to lose your job, but God, I can't wait to be on Twitter on that day. Like, everybody gives WWE so much crap when they release people, and I just can't wait.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, QT, the experiment's over, man. Like, I make no bones about it. I'm a huge AEW fan, but I make no bones about it, man. That company, nepotism, runs wild. And I feel like that's why QT is on TV so much, is him and Cody are buds. But God, if I've never seen a person who's like the void of, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't get it. Like, he's just, it's like he ain't even the biggest star in his group. Like, that's a go-go. Like, a go-go has way more star power than QT Marshall does.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few people I wouldn't mind getting to that. As far as like just roster wise.
Like, dude,
and they're still adding so many people.
I know. Like, you have Dark and Elevation. Like, that is made for QT Marshall if you want him in the ring still. I just don't know, man. He just looks like your everyday cousin. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, I just don't get it. And then the bowling shirt, man. I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to explaining who QT Marshall is to my wife next week when he's like celebrating or whatever in-ring segment they're doing. Not looking forward to it.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
I had a potential firing.
What's that?
Here. Oh, I'm probably gonna blow things up with this one. Up till last week, I thought JR lost a lot. I felt like he was the same JR, but that my opinion changed the moment the crowd was back, and it seemed like it woke him up. And I think so. I was like, for a while, I was like, I think it's time for him to hang it up. I was like, I don't want to see him go down that path where it's like, oh, now it's just getting pathetic. But then when the crowds came out, I was like, oh, he's JR again. Okay. All right. I'll step back. That was something like, if you would ask me a few weeks ago, I would have said that. Yeah. And I'm hoping I'm not blowing things up here.
I think it's a double-edged sword here. Could you have a better commentary team without JR? Yes, you definitely could. But are you really you're gonna be sad when you realize that's the last time, that's the last JR run on commentary. Yeah. That's it. You know, where does he go after this? He ain't going back to WWE. You know, and his ass ain't gonna go on the Dark or nothing like that. You know, once he's off that Dynamite commentary team, like, that's it for JR, man.
Yeah.
No Impact? Can't go. No.
JR is done.
Yeah. Again, at the time, I felt that and it was with all due respect. Like, you never want to see a guy go beyond, like, outstay his welcome. Like, it seemed like it was getting to that. And again, like 2 weeks ago when they had the crowds and it was full crowd, it woke him up. And it's like, okay, I'm hearing old JR again. Good. I think that's what they needed. But going off of that, if they were to do that, who would you think outside of the company would be the perfect replacement for him?
Outside the company is tough. Inside the company, it's Chris Jericho. The moment Chris Jericho steps away from in-ring work, I want to hear that guy on commentary. But
okay.
Outside, you know, I don't know how well he would. That's a tough one.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Morrow.
See, Morrow was in my head, but I was like, I don't know if he fits the AEW vibe.
Yeah,
you know,
because AEW is more of a sport feel. Like, they focus on wins and losses. It feels like old school NWA, where it's more of a sport with a little bit of storyline, which a lot of people seem to have a problem with from what I'm reading on Twitter. I don't know why. I think it's awesome. And if there's anyone that could explain that, would be a guy that's done combat sport commentary. I think he'd be a perfect fit for it.
Yeah. I think Jimmy Smith is doing great also, by the way. I think
yes,
Jimmy Smith is
incredible job.
Knocking it out the park.
Yep.
Him and Pat McAfee. Jesus.
I love Pat.
Oh God. Who can't who at this point who hates Pat? Like, that guy is, oh man, he's the embodiment of a wrestling fan. I was trying to think. Who I really liked was and he just got released. Mr. Fuck Your Face. What's his name? God. Seb, help me out, man.
Are you talking about Tom Phillips?
Tom Phillips. Yeah, I love Tom Phillips.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
I was stunned that they let him go. And, like, I mean, you let him go and you bring in that, what was the other guy that?
Adman Vark or something? Adman. God. You knew that was over by week 2. Like, week 1, you get a pass. Week 2, you are like, no, this ain't it. This ain't it, man.
I don't know what was worse than that. Was it that or the commentary team when they 2019 where you had Dio Madden and then Jerry the King Lawler trying to play the heel again?
Oh, man.
And Vic Joseph. Now again, I think Vic Joseph's doing a great job in NXT with Wade Barrett or Stu Bennett, whoever you want to call him. I think they're doing a great job along with Beth Phoenix. Great trio they got down there, but when he was on Raw, it wasn't clicking. It was bad.
Well, my issue was you had Vic Joseph and Dio Madden out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, why on God's green earth would you have Jerry the King Lawler? Because for one, your commentary team has got to have a natural chemistry. Mm-hmm. And when Jerry Lawler is the age of your grandfather and you're supposed to be a professional commentary booth, two young guys and their granddad is not gonna, it's never gonna work. But obviously, the behind the scenes logic is they need to have the veteran commentator. They have to have at least one familiar face or one guy that's older and more experienced. And they still only ran that experiment for what, like a month at best, it felt like, before Dio got F5 through the table.
It was a little longer than that, I think.
It felt like it was like a hiccup, man. Like it was just as quickly as they did it, it was gone.
Yeah, it wasn't long. It was not working. I knew it was before. Well, they started, what was it, September 2019. Right, I would say before Thanksgiving they were done.
I know who they can hire.
Who?
Booker T.
Booker T. I'll take Booker T all day.
No, I was being sarcastic.
I'll take Booker T on a commentary team, man. Hell yeah.
I got one more.
I love Booker, but I couldn't do it.
Joey Styles.
Oh, man. He'd be great for those death matches. To just bring that ECW vibe.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And ECW was basically AEW. You had the hardcore style matches. It was like a quote MLW, a fusion of styles. And that's kind of what AEW is doing too. And that guy's done it before. And I always loved Joey Styles. So that would be another good pick.
Oh, man. All right. So, oh, God, commentary.
JBL,
dude. Yeah, no, that's getting yeeted. Have you heard of our UWO show?
I'd rather have JBL and Booker T on commentary.
Oh, dude, you're getting yeeted off the show, too.
I couldn't do it. Booker T killed me.
So I'm close to getting the next episode of UWO. EJ, if you haven't heard of it,
yeah,
I do the show about once a month. It's called Unpopular Wrestling Opinions, and what I do is I curate 15 hot takes or unpopular wrestling opinions from Twitter. Some of them are obviously people trolling, but some other ones, people really stand by it. Their tweet, and it's an unpopular opinion. I bring on a panel of 3 guys, and I read the tweets off one by one. And after every tweet I read off, the 3 people debate whether or not the tweet actually has merit, and the person, has some leg room with their opinion, or if it's trash, and then we yeet it off of the show and play sound effects and everything. It's a ton of fun. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you say you'd rather have JBL on a commentary booth, that opinion's getting yeeted every day, all day by me. But
I agree.
God damn, I hate JBL so much. I don't know how JBL can be such a detestable human being, but then but also be so charitable. Because you hear all these horror stories of him bullying people backstage and just being a dick. But then he goes and helps build kids' schools and shit. And I'm like, JBL, pick a side, man. Pick a fucking
be
side.
A heel or a face.
Yeah, man.
Don't be the big show of life.
So, did we see the news about New Year's Revolution apparently making a comeback?
New Year's Revolution?
Well, it might not be called that, but apparently there's a pay-per-view in Atlanta on New Year's.
On New Year's, okay.
They announced it after the, what was the concert called?
I don't know. Oh, man, you didn't see that on SmackDown tonight.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking to EJ. He missed SmackDown.
Well,
I usually watch on Saturdays.
They held 2 matches at this concert that's in Florida right now. They had yeah. Terrible idea. It was so bad.
Trae Young came out and announced that there will be a pay-per-view in Atlanta on New Year's. So.
No crap. No.
Wow.
Without spoiling anything, you'll see it when you watch it. the crowd is there to listen to music. That's a bunch of young people. They are there to do drugs, have sex, and listen to music. Having 2 professional wrestling matches on a music stage in the midst of partying is the last thing those people want to see. And it showed, man. The crowd was not moving. Like, their hands were at their hips. They just looked really sad. They looked bad, man.
And one of them being Chad Gable or Chad Gable and Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah. WWE, of course, piped in the crowd noise, though, which it was so obvious because you see a bunch of people, like, nobody doing anything, yet the cheers are coming all crazy. I'm like, yo, this is so bad.
They wanted Jeff Hardy.
Huh?
They did want Jeff Hardy.
Were they cheering for him? I heard a cheer at one point. I thought they were cheering for music, like they wanted Wale or something.
They wanted Jeff Hardy.
No way.
Yeah,
Jeff Hardy's on. Is he on SmackDown? No, he's on Raw.
He's on Raw.
Man, they're watching the wrong show.
I mean, they don't know that.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, Jeff Hardy was pretty cool back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you said they piped in the crowd noise. You notice with NXT, they've been kind of doing that too.
Well, that's been an awful crowd. So
it's been a dead crowd.
They've been terrible with chants and stuff too. They've been having not just the Jeff Hardy thing with Cross, but I've seen them having to reshoot things, just unseen chants. I think I saw it.
Yeah, because when they come back from commercial breaks, they it sounds like, oh, people are banging on the boards, and then you look around, it's like, where's that coming from? Because I don't see anyone doing that.
Yeah, man, it's not going to happen. I think it's already been confirmed it's not happening, but damn it, they need to go back to Full Sail.
Or maybe go on the road and just do like small venues like AEW is doing. Like, I mean, you're going to get the same reaction. Like, the heel turn with Gargano at first, it didn't really work out because the fans were still cheering the guy because you're in front of the same people every week. So if you travel, at least stay in the Southeast or like pick a region and just continue going around that, you would get a different reaction every week. I think that's hurting them more than helping them. And I think that's the reason they didn't do so well in the ratings. That could be just me, my opinion on that, but I don't know how you feel.
To me, it feels like NXT is not being built. It's not, they're not really trying to progress it. It's like, okay, we found out that we have this really hot niche style of, playing in an extremely small, hot venue in front of the same people every week. And then they've peaked at it because they've been doing it. NXT is like almost 10 years old at this point.
9 years old. Yeah. About 9.
Yeah. So they peaked at Full Sail, in my opinion. Not that it's a bad product, but they didn't capitalize on it. And now what's the place they're in now? The
Capital Wrestling Center.
Yeah. CWC. The crowd's worse than Full Sail, obviously. And and it's like, what are we building? Like, what's the end goal here? Everybody else is on the road. We're getting large venues. We heard reports when AEW burst onto the scene and they were like a month or two in, you heard reports of like backstage rumblings that it's like, we have to get out of this place. Like the people there just felt the vibe, like we got to get out of here and get on the road. And so, yeah, that's the only like real issue I have with NXT. I love the show, and people say I don't watch it. I do watch it. But yeah, it feels like they're just spinning their wheels. Like the company and the product isn't growing.
Yeah, and it shows in like the ratings. I mean, they're anywhere from high 5s to like 700. Like this week they did 709. Good number. Honestly, but the talent they have on that roster down there, clearly they should be doing the billing. And the fact that they have the fan base before that, when they were on the WWE network, you thought that would have, helped them. But it's stunning to me that they still haven't broken millions since they moved to Tuesday nights.
Yeah. No, and I think, like I said, well, Seb, what do you think?
They're in a tough spot, man. I think what made them so popular before with fans. It was more of this underground type niche style. And now it's on national TV with more of a WWE polish, and that turns fans off. Not to mention booking alone. I mean, we saw what happened to Karrion Kross this week when Vince can just pluck one guy out of nowhere and then do what he wants to do, and then act like you got to pretend that don't even happen on your show when your crowd's sitting there and saying, we want Jeff, making fun of it. I mean, it's just they're in a bad spot. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, and you can't lie, or you can't deny rather, that is a lingering thought when you watch NXT, is like at any moment any story could just be dropped. Look at the third act with Gargano and Ciampa. Out of nowhere, at the peak of these guys' blood feud, they're pulled up on Raw, given the worst introduction ever, with just like slides, and now they're a tag team in the middle of the hottest point of their feud. And watching NXT, it's not saying you're going to sit there and refuse to get invested, but you're always going to have that lingering thought in your head, like any day this person could just go get wasted, or this story could be dropped.
I'm not even. Can y'all hear me again? I'm froze. I'm just not.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm not even as big on the hey they ruin everybody on the main roster, because I don't. They do. Some guys get hurt when they go up. Some guys don't. But I mean, Karrion Kross, for example, like, are we supposed to believe that he can beat Samoa Joe? Like, it's different when you go to the main roster and that's where you stay. But pretending there's two worlds, like, I'm going to go lose to Jeff Hardy in a minute 40, and now I'm going to go act like I'm going to beat Samoa.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. It's not a clean way to build the characters. Like the building of these characters is going against the grain a lot of times. So yeah, like I said, I think it's just I kind of wish at this. I don't know what you would do outside of get them on the road, because it's like you can't keep them from the WWE. You can't just put up this magic barrier and all of a sudden, Raw and SmackDown can no longer pluck guys up. And then it's not as easy as saying, well, make them on a level playing field as Raw and SmackDown and get in the draft, and then, start bringing people like Natalya and Tamina onto fucking NXT.
Dolph Ziggler would make a great NXT champion.
Are you being for real?
No. I mean, he'd have good matches. There's that. But no, I don't know, man. Jeff Hardy was 2-12 this year before beating Kross, and now we gotta think Kross is gonna beat Samoa Joe, like, believably. It's just, I don't know.
Bama says, and Bama makes a point. Says going up to the main roster used to be a big deal too, and doesn't feel like quite a big deal anymore now, does it? Yeah.
Especially when you have some people that have in a contract that they would stay down in NXT and not come up. that tells you everything. Yep. Everything
that lets you know, man. Yeah. And it's not like going to the Raw is just like a death sentence, but man, your odds of losing your popularity go up pretty high.
Well, because it went from Triple H's vision to Vince's, and he has to repackage you in his vision, in the way he sees you. And again, it just, why mess with something that's not broken? I never understood that.
Yeah, it's so weird to go to say like, oh wow, this character and performer has a ton of momentum going forward. They've built their foundation, their fan base, their style, their niche. I need to hit the reset button. Like they're so hot right now. I need to pull them up, but once I have them here, I need to reset it. That's such a weird thing to think. Like, it's a weird concept to have. You remember, like, what always stands out to me was Aleister Black making his way to the ring, and commentary. I think it was Michael Cole screaming into the mic. He fights for the blue collar man, the everyday man. That's who he's fighting for. And I was like, where the hell is this coming from? Like, Dude, the joke is Vince doesn't watch NXT. You know,
A lot of people say, "Oh, you think he's going to run a company and not look at that?" Watch NXT. Well, it's evident because you take a guy that's like uber over at NXT and very accomplished, done everything like win the title, North America, whatever. And then they come up and you just repackage it and like Ricochet, you put that little Ricochet sound before the theme song. When Aleister Black going back to him, when he would raise up, they had that little creaking sound. I mean, it's like, come on. It's. I think at this point it is obvious he does not watch it. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, man.
And even if he does, he just not just with the NXT guys. Just it's in his blood. He wants to overproduce things. It don't matter what it is. He just wants to put his little touch, even if it's something as small as Aleister Black's little creak. He has to put something of his. I mean,
so this isn't necessarily a complaint, but a genuine curiosity. Where do you think the obsession with the single names, the single name change, comes from? Like, where can you guys rationalize? Like, can you rationalize it? Is it easier for branding? Because they obviously have like an obsession with taking people that have multiple names and obviously shortening it. The most recent case, Shotzi losing Blackheart. She's just Shotzi now. And
yeah.
And I'm trying to think of that's one, because I like to play devil's advocate. Be like, okay, this is why I would do this. This is why I would do this. Only thing I can think of is like assuming fans are pretty unintelligent and single names are easier to remember. But even then, that doesn't really make much sense.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, think about the names of back in the day: Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. I mean, you still could say those names years later. I can't think of a good reason why they do that and why you would do that. Matt Riddle. Oh, let's take out Matt. Call him Riddle.
That one I wasn't really too mad at. Like at first you're like,
well, Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy. Now that was just
it's a case by case thing for me. I mean, I don't know why I do it, but as far as like if I have a problem with like Blackheart, I think needs Blackheart. Besides Blackheart,
mm-hmm.
But like back in the day, it didn't bother me if they took Antonio out of Cesaro.
Yeah, he made it work.
It's just different. Some people, to me, I feel like can make it work. Some can't.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's not always a bad thing. It does, but it is weird how frequently it happens. Yeah, Murphy was just that. Oh God, that one.
I think Ali could work. I agree with that. Like Ali works. I think Mustafa Ali. I think yeah.
Well, I do like that. If you ever see like the WWE.com stuff and everything, he'll still like have people announce him as Mustafa Ali, but yeah, it's only on the TV side of things. Yeah, and Ali, I've gotten used to it. That one, you're right about that.
Yeah, Murphy was awful. I mean, what's that like? How would you feel if they took Jeff Hardy and started calling him Hardy?
No, they just call him Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, yeah.
They'd strip him of Hardy, just to probably separate him from Matt Hardy. Like, no, you're just Jeff now.
Or call him Harvey.
Jeff Harvey. Yeah. What if Keith Lee just became Keith?
Oh God.
Yeah, bask in Keith's glory.
Circle back to what we were talking about. Not utilizing a guy, bringing him up after up to the main roster. There's a guy right there. What? It's a damn shame.
I have hope for Keith Lee.
I think he still has a shot. From what I've heard or read from a lot of people, and it's just not just WWE diehards, man. His attitude and stuff like that is what's kind of got him into.
Oh, you think it's his attitude that's kind of stunting?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've read, it's like his attitude, and he hasn't been taking advice very well. He hates losing every time like his first loss, he from what I read. You know, he got very upset. It's just backstage stuff. It's not nothing really to do with the in-ring.
It's interesting. I haven't heard anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. But you know what? There's been speculation whether that Vince wanted him to work a different style, which is not Keith Lee's style. He said that because he's a bigger guy, he should work a bigger guy's style, and he doesn't do that. That's what I've heard that, but I didn't hear anything about like poor attitude.
Oh, and cardio too is another big thing from what I've read. He gets blown out or pretty quick in a match. So there's that. There's I can't remember. I listened to a couple different podcasts. One of them was Wade Keller's flagship show, and he was talking about some backstage stuff. He gets tired, been getting tired like 8 minutes or so into the matches. Can't really stuff like that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say because now the whole changing of the style thing. This gets me hot is because the same thing happened to Dominic Dijakovic, T-Bar or whatever. That man, you've clipped what made him successful because he's never been the best on the mic, But once you start watching him wrestle and you watch a big guy move the way he does, you become fascinated by him. I mean, him and Keith Lee was tearing it down. And then you bring him to the main roster, you put a mask on him, you make him start talking, and he can't wrestle the same way that he was wrestling. You literally you shined a light on his weaknesses and you're hiding his strengths. And like I could see them trying to do the same thing to Keith Lee. I could easily see that. But we've seen guys struggle. We've seen guys like this before. I mean, look, it took Kofi Kingston 11 years to get to that belt. He had backstage issues or something. And we just saw, look at, now I don't think Big E's ever had an issue. I bet. I'd be shocked to find out if he had an issue. But obviously he's been in the company for a long time and now he's money in the bank. The road can be longer for some. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. But, I mean, who knows? If the writing's really on the wall, Keith Lee would be amazing on AEW. I'll say that.
That he will. And going to the Big E, I mean, Kofi Mania we got 2 years ago, great story. And I'm loving the story so far. Him getting the opportunity, winning Money in the Bank. When that moment happens, I'm going to be so happy for Big E. Talk about a guy that deserves it. At first, I didn't like the fact that they kind of broke up New Day, but I understood. And seeing what they're doing right now, it's like, okay, yeah, I think it's time. Kofi had his time. It's Big E's time.
Who and when?
Right now, I'm saying Bobby Lashley, put him on Raw. And then he'd be reunited with his boys. But this time, you got New Day, you got Kofi and oh God.
Xavier.
Oh my God. What?
Xavier.
Xavier Woods. I was going to say Austin.
Yeah, Austin Creed.
Yep. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I blanked on that.
I blank all the time, man.
Yeah. Them being a tag team, him being a singles guy, kind of like what they did before with Kofi. But I mean, it's about time. I mean, the guy's done everything he could as a tag team wrestler. He had a good, short run with the IC title, but yeah, I think he should go to Raw, take out Lashley.
Yeah, they did already write that story, didn't they? With Lashley destroying Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was going to say Roman at Mania, but they're going to use Roman to get The Rock, and Roman ain't losing that belt for probably ever. Probably retire with that belt.
If anyone should beat him, it should be Drew.
Yeah, calling Drew out as the B champion. When I'm sorry, man, the WWE title is always a top title, Roman.
If he keeps dropping lines like that missionary line earlier, it better be a heel because he's turning babyface.
Yeah, they did say he was going to slowly turn face, turn into that cool face. Yeah, yeah. No, wait till you hear Roman's promo tonight. His Roman gave a very good promo. Which is great because all people have talked about is how Cena buried him a couple years ago with their promos in the ring. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of been on my mind was like, okay, Roman's gonna have to bring some fire here to erase that memory, and he did. He brought some fire tonight.
He dropped the line today. It blew my mind. I was like, wow, okay.
You just double check. Is this PG? Is it still PG? Oh man. All right. Before we go, we've got an hour in here. Before we go, I said I wanted to talk. You do lists. I'm a hungry person. I want us. What's your top? Do you want to say 5? Yeah, I'm gonna say 5. Top 5 burger chains. Who's the burger? The burger. I don't want to say king because it's for obvious reasons. What fast food chain makes the best burger?
Ooh, Five Guys.
Five Guys is yours.
Yeah, that's my top one. You want me to go from like 1 to 5? Don't matter.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I already gave away number 1, so I might as well go from there. Next, I would say Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Yeah. I would say 3 Smash Burger. They're starting to pop up around us. It's slowly getting to that number 2 spot. So right now they're 3. Number 4, I would say probably Burger King, because I still like them over McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 McDonald's, obviously. So yeah, top 1 for me is I'm Five Guys.
I got you now. What about you, Seb? Are you a burger connoisseur?
I like burgers. Fat Patties was probably the best for me. I don't know if y'all have that in your all's area, but
I don't.
No,
they're hamburgers. It's like fucking, Fat Patties are fucking huge. Kind of like you can't eat your fries with it. It's so big. Five Guys probably number 2. I like Five Guys. Wendy's probably 3. Burger King 4. Smash Burger 5 somewhere. Okay.
I got you. Mine. So flip a coin. My bottom 2 are Burger King and McDonald's. That's my 4 and 5 on any given day. They'll swap places. And then I got to go with Five Guys for number 3. Number 2 would be Hardee's. Do you guys have Hardee's where you're at?
Nope.
On the West Coast, it's Carl's Jr., but Hardee's is good. And then I think my top 1. I'm in North Carolina. I'll get hung out to dry if I don't say Cookout. Cookout out here is the best burger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then also an honorable mention. I don't think it's really fast food, but there's this place called Fuddruckers. It's the coolest burger chain I've ever seen. It's like the most it's just the structure of the restaurant is impressive. Like it's the most productive burger place I've ever seen because they just grill the meat and bun and then they have like a salad bar, but it's all the burger condiments and toppings. So they just pump out the burger and then you do the rest. And I just saw them. I was at Myrtle Beach, and they're just whipping burgers out, man. Doing it seemed like they were doing like 100 burgers in like 20 minutes. Like I'd never seen such efficiency. It was impressive.
What we say real quick? Favorite fries out of all of them?
Oh, McDonald's.
Wow. Okay. I'll have to. What's that?
If they're hot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're assuming the food's fresh. Wow.
I don't always get fresh fries. I'm just.
Yeah. That or I would say it's not a burger chain, but that or Bojangles.
Okay. Five Guys for me again. It's completely fresh, so I go with them. Wendy's next, as far as like they're close second.
Yeah, I like Wendy's fries. I'm not a fan of their burgers, but I like their fries.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Wendy's too to giving us a fast food place where you can get a baked potato
and chili.
Yeah, and chili.
Yep. Always love chili.
Their ice cream machine works most of the time.
Yeah. Well, they're known for those Frosties, man. You can't.
Oh.
You look like you have someone trying to get your attention, Seb.
Yeah, it's my cat.
Yeah.
My dog's in a cage.
Yeah.
I had to put her up when you was going over your fantasy list.
Oh, man. Well, you guys, tonight's been a lot of fun. Before we go, EJ, I'd like to go ahead and give you this moment, man. Go ahead, plug anything you want to plug. Let people know where they can find you.
Thank you. Yeah. Every Monday night, we are live on Twitch as well under the name Square Top 10 10. We do a podcast where we do the top 10 moments and matches that occurred in pretty much all pro wrestling, AEW, NWA, WWE, NXT, MLW. I watch everything. So we just come up with a list, best moments. We give out our top 5 performers or wrestlers of the week and our top 5 overall shows. You can follow me on Twitter at Squared Top 10, same thing as the channel of Twitch. That's Squared Top 10 on Twitter.
Nice, man. Yeah, you can follow myself at the Kai Tai Show, and Sebastian, you're at Wrestling_sports. Wrestling is without the W, folks.
10-4.
Yeah, man. Really quick, I'll just get all the plugs out of the way. If you want to support the show, please head on over to patreon.com/SmackRawPodcast. We have a bevy of reward tiers, stickers, t-shirts, you name it, shout outs. It's actually under construction right now. We're going to get a new layout, fresh coat of paint like the show has. If you're not into that monthly subscription, but you still want to help us out, maybe with a one-time donation, paypal.me/SmackedRawPod. And of course, don't forget to follow us on Twitch, on Twitter, all of that stuff. Like, subscribe, YouTube, comment on our podcast, all those fun things. I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to watch and support the show. All right, now I got that out of the way, man. EJ, we got to have you back on the show sometime, maybe like UWO or something.
Oh, anytime. Yeah. Just hit me up.
Yeah, UWO. It's my, I like it because it's like the equivalent of Jerry Springer. My job is to create controversy and just watch everybody just either attack Twitter or attack each other, and it's fantastic. I love that show.
So it'd be like the wrestling version of The View.
Yes, pretty much. I just dropped, like, what it is I drop that tweet in the middle of you guys, and y'all are like piranha and just tear it up. Seb.
Yo.
Your name is officially on the backdrop. You're good to come back, right? You're good to be back Fridays.
10. Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
I almost said 10-4, but I realized I'm not at work. But yeah.
It's okay. 10-4. I can understand. But man, awesome. Well, fun show, man. Everybody that's watching, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, y'all have a good one.
See you.
Take it easy.